Welcome back, everybody, to the Breakthrough Moment podcast, where we interview successful entrepreneurs and investors and ask them what their biggest breakthrough moment is. John, you're totally bringing the fun already and breaking my pattern. This is the best. What's up, John? Are you there? Can you hear me?
No, I sure hope I'm here. Yeah.
Amazing. This is my favorite introduction, is when the guest... That's awesome. So for those of you who are joining us for the first time today, it's John Schuette. He is someone that I connected with on Facebook. And apart from being a sales trainer, he's just an awesome dude who has bringing a lot of fun and humor and I guess authenticity to the sales process. And because of him, he's introduced me to some amazing people that have opened up some amazing doors. But for those of you who are listening, just to give you a quick bit of an intro as well, he is not a sales trainer per se, but he helps experienced and good-natured reps really crush it in life in their roles and have tons of fun doing so. And so if you're a closer, if you're in sales, if you're an entrepreneur and you want to take your sales game to the next level, we've got John here. John, welcome. What has been your biggest breakthrough moment throughout your career thus far?
It was beautiful. It was... All right,
That's the best.
Shit. What was my biggest breakthrough moment?
Right now.
So right now. It's happening right now. Yeah, if you can't tell. I don't know what caused it, and I sure hope it stops. But it's right now. So there's two things. Whenever I was in sales, so I sold cars. I was a mountain bike instructor, so I sold old people and letting me tell them how to ride a bike. That was my first real sales gig. And then I sold cars, and then I sold insurance, and then I sold merchant services, and I sold pools and home, and that was traveling sales. I like that one. But that was very bait and switch. Here's the thing. Nobody's going to invite you in your house to buy a $21,471 pool. So you have to bait and switch them, unfortunately. It's a nice ass pool, but just because the offer is good doesn't mean they can't, that's just their sales model. They could have found a better sales model, but you sell a pool inside someone's home, you better make it fucking expensive so the sales guy can make some money. So I sold that, and then I got into online sales. And then I was doing different sales training. I thought I was the man. I thought I knew everything about sales going into this online sales space. And I'm like, I totally don't. I still don't. Right now, I'm good at sales, but I listen to how other people handle objections and all that. And I'm like, that's really good. But then I'm like, I don't get objections. So I don't ever have to handle them anymore. That's the other thing. That was recent. I started training this team that I'm helping on objection handling. I'm like, why are we doing this? And then I talked to one of the ladies on the team. She's amazing. She is so bright and friendly. And she and I just hung out the other day and talked about art. We just hung out. She's a really pleasant person. And so she should perform really well in sales. And then she hops on calls. And when we drill, she's stiff and rigid. And she's being what she thinks an authority is. So she's got, da 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 da, and then she that's how she thinks she needs to lead people, or a little guy with the little hair and all the big rockets. That's what she thinks authority is. And we looked it up, and authority is just you're an expert at something, and then you act like the expert. But you have to actually be an expert first. This was a recent thing too, because I had always been taught by all the sales trainers in our space. This is the only space on earth, this online sales space, where someone will tell you don't need to learn about your product. You just need to get better at sales. And I actually got better at sales when I got better at my product, because I understood how to talk to because I worked for a guy who was a pretty good marketer, which means that he was good at explaining things in trainings. And he also knew how to teach things very well. So whenever I would go through our program and watch the videos myself, then I knew how to talk to my market, because I was thinking about it from the marketer's perspective. I went through all of our ads. I went through our marketing. I watched our pre-call video twice a day. I treated every piece of marketing in the company like it was my Bible. And that's when a breakthrough moment was. I started doing mental work, and I started removing mental blocks. I got rid of my fear on calls. I just talked to a really cool guy like earlier. I don't want to share too much personal about him, but he's like a really nice guy, and he's got a family, and he has a cool track record. He's run a business successfully, and he like wants to get to like 15K a month and like keep it consistent. I'm like, why would you want to? That's like a flat line, right? That's not growth at all, right? You want to be consistently growing, not consistently doing the same. And that's the other thing. That's the data part of it, right? But I was on this team, and I just started like doing the mental work to remove my fears on calls, fear of rejection, fear of like being called out publicly for my close rate or being an imposter or something like that. And then I just like I hopped on a call earlier, and I literally told the guy on the call, I said, I have no like fucking tell me no. And then he's like, I don't wanna. And I'm like, okay. So like it's just like you should be able to talk to people, and your emotions get in the way of your ability to communicate with people. And that's why things go poorly, because communication solves all problems. It's a universal solvent. You get into communication with it, your level of love towards the person increases, your level of understanding increases, your level of reality, understanding their reality and seeing what their reality is, and then finding a reality to agree upon. A lot of sales are lost because you don't agree on what reality is. You know, you have broke people if you're selling business to consumer. Biz op, I saw a lot of that. Their reality is like totally different than what the closer's reality is. So that's why the closer can't connect with them, right? They're either secretly resenting them or judging them, or they get frustrated whenever the prospect doesn't understand. But like, here's what the prospect might understand about business and sales and like starting a business and all that. And here's what the closer knows. Here's what the closer needs to know. So that way he can drop back down to here and understand the prospect better, right? But the closer usually only knows just what their sales trainers taught them about business and sales. I used to binge watch Alex Hormozy all day, like all of his business stuff, and it made me better at sales, because then I was thinking logically whenever I'd talk to people and I'd call people out. I'd be like, "That's fucking stupid." Like for example, here's a logical thing that makes no sense. Here's an illogical thing makes no sense. Your mindset gets in the way. Your fear, your doubt, your procrastination, your imposter syndrome, your shiny object syndrome, your inability to make a decision and stick with it, your inability to stay consistent, your inability to push harder or go further or play bigger games, and your inability to be willing to lose. You can only win to the degree that you're willing and able to lose and fail. You will only win to the degree that you're willing to fail. So most people like lose small and then they win small, right? So these are all the mental stuff and there's plenty of others, right? That get in the way. You're being your dad, right? That's what I see a lot with people, right? They're being like their dad, and then they don't want to be like their dad. I told this father, I really want to post this on YouTube, the conversation. But like, I'm like, you should be hard on your kid. Like, the people are always like, I want to be easier on my kids. I want to give them an easier life. I want it to be more fun, less painful for them. Well, actually, no, it was the pain that made you have good character. It was the struggle, the challenges that you had that made you have good character. So you're gonna make your kid a fucking weak, gay ass pussy who can't get shit done because you don't want to discipline him, or you don't want to push him. Like, he was like, my dad like pushed me to do sports and stuff like that. And he was really, really pushing me and really pointing out winning and failing. And I just think you should do it for fun. And I'm like, you should do it for fun and to win, right? Michael Jordan plays to fucking win. Would you rather be Michael Jordan or one of the average players that gets intimidated when Michael Jordan's on the court? So you got to play to fucking win. It's not this gay shit where like we get participation trophies. That's how entrepreneurs are starting to treat business. That's why they move so slowly. They move so slowly. They move at a snail's pace because they start lifestyle businesses. Your business is not supposed to serve you. You're supposed to serve your business. Your business is supposed to be a higher dynamic that you pour into, something that you contribute to. You contribute to your business, then you hire other people who contribute to the business. That's it. It's not people, you hire people so they can contribute to your business so that way your business can contribute to you, because then, or you and your family, because then basically you're asking people, your mission in your company is to get you paid, and you're masquerading like it's to help others. Right? My business, I'm here to make fucking money. And I have to help a lot of people to do that. And I have to help a lot of the right people to do that. I help business owners if they have teams and stuff. I'll help them with their mindset if they want one-on-one. But primarily, I help sales reps who already know what they should be doing, who already have the skills, who have already they're doing like 8, 10, 15 grand a month. Like this guy I just talked to, 12 and a half grand a month. And he wants to get 15. And I'm like, oh, because that's as far as you can go, right? That's the extent of what you're capable of. And he was like, fuck, you're right. And I help those guys get out of their way because they basically are capped not by their skills, not by their ability to get better roles, but by their mindset. Their mindset keeps them from closing more deals and getting better roles. That's it. They got something there. That's otherwise they'd be moving faster. I don't help the guy who moves at 1,000,000 miles an hour unless he can't control himself. I've had some clients like that. It takes a lot of fucking work, but you find somebody who can't stop working and you get them to stop working, you get them to do the right things, boy, oh boy. So I help those guys too, but they got to pay me a lot of fucking money because I have to put up a lot of their shit. It's a pain in the ass. And they change their mind every 10 minutes. But the breakthrough moment.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No,
I was going to say, I was on a sales team. I had made maybe 20, 30 grand a year as a sales rep. Best month was like 8 grand. Got on a sales team as a setter. I stopped being a closer. I love setting, dude. I love it more than closing because you can make way more money. You can book infinite calls. You can book 20 calls in a day as a setter. You can only take like 6 to 8 as a closer if they're an hour long. You might be able to take 16 at most of the 20 minutes to 30 minutes. If you're in supplement sales or something like that, then for sure you're going to outperform a setter. But setters perform poorly because they're fucking gay. They just take on the idea that they can't perform better and that they're lesser than a closer. But in a company, it goes setter, team lead, setter manager, then sales manager. And then it goes closer, closer team lead, closer manager, sales manager. They're not the same fucking role, right? Why not become, technically you could go setter, team lead, setter manager, closer team lead. I guess you could do it that way too. But it's just like, they're not the same role. So why, like, and there's so much status around being a closer. It's if I'm going to relate it to your audience, there's so much status around having a cooler business or this or that, or like implementing the next cool thing or like having whatever the fuck. But two things. I was using data. I'd stare at a spreadsheet for like an hour a day as a sales rep, and I'd see how money went from the prospect's hand into my bank account and how it split into all my separate bank accounts and how it went into my investment accounts and all that. And I would reverse engineer my goals and I'd say, okay, cool. It'd take me 8 years to have 10 million bucks so I could pay myself $300,000 a year from 3% out of my S&P 500 account. Like these are the types of things that I sat and did, and then I removed mental blocks. So that's why I'm making my program about it. I used to only do mental blocks, but then we never like did anything to make more money. So like they'd make more money by chance, but they never like maintained the level of work ethic because they weren't looking at the data. They didn't know they needed to maintain like 6 to 8 hours of sales activity each day, right? And you don't. I know a guy in a universe adjacent to mine who was making like $300 a month. It has nothing to do with me. I don't know. He's probably dead or something. Or doesn't exist. This is a fictitious story. Okay, once upon a time, there was a guy who made $300 a month in commission, and he went to 12 grand a month. But he has nothing to do with me. It's just a story I heard. And he was working 40 hours a month, 10 hours a week to make 12 grand a month that's what I'm saying. So it's just like,
as a setter,
I don't know. It's beyond me. I couldn't tell you. I haven't read Onyx Gall's book about FTC compliance. I'm not gonna say anything about numbers. So unrelated to me.
What advice do you have? A quick pause before we continue. Hey, everybody, please, if you're enjoying this podcast, if it's allowing you to think differently and have your own breakthrough moment too, please subscribe. Please like this video, share it with somebody else, and even comment below. I'd love to know what has been your biggest breakthrough moment listening to today. I read all the comments, and your responses help me shape the future of this podcast so other people can have breakthroughs too. All right, let's get back to it. For other people, the real people out there, not fictitious people.
Who specifically?
Real people out there who are wanting to have a breakthrough in their own sales, like based on what you go through, what you've been through.
Stop looking for a breakthrough.
Say again?
Stop looking for a breakthrough. You're waiting for a big special moment when something pops or happens. But the majority of the time is not going to happen. That's not how it works. And mine, I'd say work with me if you want to find out what the problem is, the major why as to why you're being stupid and not getting your shit done correctly. But the actual advice is just stop looking for it and just do what already works. And then document what works. And every time something works really well, like today, I didn't run my sales process how I normally do. But I know as long as I have a huge amount of affinity on a call, I'm going to win. right? So I didn't fully prospect him in the DMs. He didn't go through any video material before we talked. He came to me from an email blast and from a JV partner. So he knows nothing about me. So I just told him exactly what his problem was before he shared anything with me, just from some data he gave me in the DMs. And he's like, yeah, that's exactly it. And that's the trust he needed to circumvent the 3 hours of videos I was going to have him watch. So I'm not skipping my process. I'm still building the trust. I have to have the trust before I ever ask them to buy. I don't ask them to buy and then try and build the trust. So I never ask them to buy before I have the trust. That's my process. So I built the trust because I already liked the guy and I was like, we might as well get it done on this call. So we're going to get a deal done by the end of the day. He had to run to a sales call. This was right before this. But my point is like, you'll have things that you've done that are successful, even if just once, and just do it again. And don't ever veer off from it. I don't sell someone whose mental state is too low. That's part of my policy in my company. They're fucked. I'll give them advice on how to improve, but I'm sorry. I help people who are able. I only can help people who are already able to perform, and I help you get all the mental junk out of the way. And then I help you think more clearly, understand your market better so you can communicate to them better. And I help you, so that means send better texts, better emails. It means you resonate more with them on calls. It means you're like in love with them. You're in love with your market, man. You should love to sell the people who you're selling. Understand data so that way whenever we look at the stats, I can look at someone's data and know what to do next in terms of trends. But what I know I'm very good at is I can look at all your conversion rates and know what you're likely not doing on your calls. And then we investigate. And if that's true, then I know how to fix it. Right. So it's like, you need to learn how to do that for yourself. That's my advice, is you need to become more competent. You're not competent enough. You let emotions get in the way and you haven't gotten it handled. You don't understand data, so you don't know how to make logical decisions. So you make illogical decisions based on your fucking gut. Cool. Great. I'll let your next fucking taco decide how you make decisions in your business. Okay. That's fucking useless. Right. Or the other way around, you don't trust what you know. Like you hop on a call with someone and you get a bad vibe about them and they're not the kind of person you want to work with, but you work with them anyway and you get screwed over. That's data. You can actually observe someone's vibe. That's observable data. Even if it's not observable through the eyes, it's observable through some perceptic, some spiritual perceptic. You can tell someone's energy, right? So that's data, and you don't listen to that data. And instead you go, I'm going to ignore it. And you know exactly all the times you did that and it didn't go well, right? So I listen to that. That's not intuition. I don't know what the fuck intuition is or where it comes from. It's usually located in the air, right? And then you stick your head up there, and that's where you'll find your intuition. Little squirt nozzle where it comes out.
You're just warming up. Keep going. Keep going. So everyone at home, where is intuition found? Please put your answer into the comments below.
Because that's the thing, is you're going off of emotions. And if your mental state is not high, if you're questioning yourself, if you have thoughts rattling in your head all day, it's probably not a high mental state. Because whenever you're at a high mental state, you don't think and you make the right decisions anyway. So we can tell that thinking probably is not required for you to be successful. So if you're thinking a lot and overthinking, probably don't make any decisions. If you're fearful, don't make any decisions. If you're feeling guilty, don't make any decisions. If you haven't gotten enough to sleep, don't make any important decisions. That's it. You need to get sleep. Otherwise, your body will pull from the negative stuff in your mind for energy. That's why you feel worse when you have less sleep. It's got to get energy from somewhere, and you didn't get enough sleep to recharge your body, so then it's got to pull from somewhere. So sleep super. Get out of your house. Go touch things. Go smell things. Go extrovert your attention. Get out of your head. This is the advice. Go do fun shit. I had a client. He's freaking out. He starts doing his bad habits again and all this kind of stuff. And he's a very high performer, right? He's running a sales team. And he's already, I think he added like 70 grand in the last 2 or 3 months, which, by the way, if you're looking for hockey stick growth, you're fucking retarded, because usually that breaks everything. And you can, if you look at people who are successful, most often it's slow growth. And even if the growth is in like big chunks, it's still, you're going at a nice consistent rate of growth, right? You're not trying to hockey stick it up. Usually those guys go up and then down, and then maybe they go up a little bit later and then down, and they roller coaster. You don't want that. You want consistent growth. Right. So if you we grew 20% month over month with one setter and one closer. I told, the advice I gave was hey, start a low ticket thing. We did it. And then I upsold people from the low ticket thing at a very high rate. 3 times industry average, 3 to 8 times industry average. Industry average was 3 to 7% for upsell from low ticket membership to high ticket, and mine was 20 plus. And like, I'd say just like, here's the advice: get the job done. I needed to make more sales. So I pretended like I was the head coach of the free course, and I took responsibility for it too, because I had watched everything in the free course. And then I took responsibility and I said, I'm the head coach of the 47 a month thing, because I watched everything in it like twice. I watched it while I DM set. So I knew what to send them to. I knew what to do. I knew. Like, I was good. Be the CSM for your low ticket stuff and you'll sell higher ticket stuff. And if you're a business owner, be more creative and stop changing things all the time. Those sound contrary. But like, my thing is I do content. This is my successful actions. I do content, I do JVs, I do podcasts, and then I send DMs. I'm hiring a DM setter. So DMs are going to be handled. So I can do my other 3 things, which is just content all day. Right? That's really what I'm doing. I'm trying to get in front of as many eyeballs as possible, so then they come to me. I just got 2 inbound leads yesterday, and 2 other calls. In the past like 7 days, I've gotten 5 inbound leads, but 5 inbound leads is $60,000 plus. It's probably going to be closer to like 80. It's like, while it's a low volume, most people would freak out, be like, that's not enough. Well, actually, close all of them. It is enough. That's an easier solution. Just close them. Don't not close
John,
them. Just close them. Yeah.
if you have a business on Facebook or Instagram, you need to learn about this new amazing AI automation tool. The question is your personal profile or business profile manually messaging your target audience every single day? If not, I highly recommend you do this. There's a massive ROI on that. But if you are, there's a more cost-effective strategy. So this is a unique AI software. It runs for you your friend requests, the messages, the likes, even the comments, 24/7 in the cloud. So while you're watching podcasts like this or taking calls or while you're sleeping, it's running there in the background. Some of these people are pulling in another 5 to 20 extra qualified leads every single week on autopilot. You can experience the podcast special trial and try it for yourself today. Check it out in the show notes below.
Yeah.
Tell me, if you could go back in time with what you know today and start your sales journey again from the beginning, what would you do different?
I wouldn't do anything different, because I found a mentor who connected me to the mentor who I have now, and I'm walking towards spiritual freedom. And if I would have changed anything, I can't guarantee I would have found it. I probably would, because that's what I was looking for since I was born. I was looking for this exact thing that I'm working on privately. So I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change anything. But if I wanted to make more sales, I'd say work harder and do more cold calls. You will encounter way more mental blocks doing cold calls. And if you have someone like me who can just help you get rid of the mental blocks in like 15 minutes, then you're going to like, your skill's going to go through the roof. Cold calls, sales is a game of getting yeses. And if you don't get enough no's in a day, you'll never get good at getting yeses. And the more creative you can get a yes at each step of the sale, there's 26 steps to the sale. I have a document if anybody wants it. It's free. But if you can get a yes to each step of the sale, like, first step is get them to respond. Second step is get them to engage. So third step is get them to have a conversation. Fourth step is get them to answer questions. Fifth step is get them to share something personal. Like, there's steps. Okay, cool. They're answering questions, but they want to share something personal. There's something missing. So that's the objection you need to handle. You don't need to handle any other objection that they have other than to get them sharing what they want, what they're not comfortable sharing. That's it. And if you don't know where you are in your process, then you won't know what to fix. And if you don't know where you are in your process and you don't run it often enough, then you won't be able to find patterns in what you need to fix. And then you won't be able to come up with handlers. I came up with some of the best objection handlers, and I just made it up on spot. I'd like, whatever I got to do. Because I guess I've been good at bullshitting in the past, so I'm able to think on my feet, right? And it's not in a dishonest way. I guess I know I've been dishonest in the past, and I'm not afraid to admit it. Like, yeah, I have. We all have been. And if you're in sales and haven't been dishonest, you probably haven't been selling hard enough. Because there's some times where you accidentally embellish things. Sometimes you do it on purpose, right? Well, it's not an accident. There's no accidents. It's a spiritual being. There's no accidents. You did it on purpose. So,
It sounds like you're, I've been there. I've been there for sure. Embellished or kind of exaggerated at times to make things sound good and whatever, more than it was. And I realized I didn't need that anyway. That was just my own inadequacies or lack mindset trying to fill the space. And the more that I've stripped that back and the more honest I am, the more authentic I am, the more straight straight to the truth, the
Mhm.
better I do in sales and actually in all areas, relationships, family, friends, like my own mental health. It's
Yeah.
all comes back to that authenticity point.
It's the
You
easiest
mentioned
fix.
you mentioned at the beginning here you don't have objections. Can you share a little bit more about that?
Nope. Next question.
Yeah. All right, click on your link. Click buy my shit.
Yeah, yeah. No, people object to you to the degree that you object to your own goals and things that you want to do in life. If you say you want to do something and you don't do it, that's an objection. An objection is a statement that's directly contrary to something that you want to do. That's it. So contrary, meaning if they want to buy and they say, I have an issue with money, that's not an objection, that's an obstacle. It has to be contrary. So every time that you lie to yourself or others, that makes you more dishonest. So you'll get more trust objections, even if you don't lie to the prospect. If you are fearful, you bring fear to the call. And then you being fearful, you're not going to be able to handle their fear. You have to be at a higher state to handle any, like, you have to be higher than their state no matter what point of the call you're in, right? If you get uncomfortable when talking about personal things or when other people talk about their personal things, then you won't ask questions that are painful because you're going to get uncomfortable, right? And you're going to steer away from the uncomfortable stuff. How do you not get objections? You don't create them. uh, it's the sales rep who creates the objections, right?
Right.
So if somebody comes to a call and you notice that they're skeptical and they're not smiling at the beginning of the call, then you need to handle that until they are smiling and not skeptical. You don't move on from the call. I don't start a call until someone's smiling and happy and ready to go. There are things that you must have in place before a call starts, and I will take 30 minutes to get them happy. I don't give a fuck. This is my call. I'm going to run it. They're not going to run it. They're not going to. No, can we just get to the questions? No, shut the fuck up, unhappy man. You don't run this. I run this. This is my fucking call. You think that this is not your house. You came into my house looking for my products. So I'm going to run you through my process. I'm not running your process. Your process sucks because you don't have results or you don't have the results you want. So why would I listen to you? That's it. So to answer your question, how do you not have objections? You handle all the things inside of yourself that when they're present inside of your prospect create objections. So if your prospect has fear and you haven't handled your own fear in certain areas, you won't be able to handle their fear. So therefore, it doesn't handle. If you are indecisive or you put things off or procrastinate, you'll get lots of think about it objections. Additionally, if you make things confusing or use lots of big words or speak for too long during a call, someone will get some misunderstanding. And after a misunderstanding, if you've ever read a book, Zach, do you know what a book is?
Yeah. I sure do. Why are you pausing?
So whenever you read a book, have you ever had it where like all the words are worded and everything's going good and then it goes blank and then you're looking at the words and they stop wording and like you're like, I know these words, but it's just not making sense what I'm reading. I don't know why not. It's because you went over a misunderstood word and everything after a misunderstood word goes blank. And it's 100% of the time. It's not some of the time. It's every single fucking time. So I don't care how smart you think you fucking are, right? That's why you stop learning. That's why when you go to learn about AI or you're trying to learn to build systems in your business or you're trying to handle finances, there's some point where you stop working on the finances is because, or some point you stop working on the subject. This is where people drop out of school or get bad grades or stop not actually understanding, then they memorize. They don't understand, so they memorize instead, right? But you go into a subject, let's say you want to learn about accounting. You go over a word you don't understand. Everything gets fuzzy, and it gets fuzzier and fuzzier and fuzzier and harder to pay attention while you're learning the subject. You do this in video courses that you buy. You do this in everything that you do, right? And then you stop watching it. You'll say, I'll come back to it later. I need to chew on this. I need to digest. No, if you understood the information, you would have understood it as soon as you received it. There's something you don't understand about it, and you're not going to find out by thinking. But that's what everybody's reaction is. I need to go think. I need to go chew on it. I need to go consider this. So if you get to think about an objection on a sales call, it's because there's something that they went over that they don't understand. And they went fuzzy. And because they're fuzzy, of course, they're scared because now they're fuzzy. They're uncomfortable. They're nervous because they're fuzzy. They're not nervous because of the fucking decision. Spiritual being can make a decision instantly. Also, it's quite illogical that at the end of a sales call, when it's time to make a decision, would you say, Zach, at the end of a sales call, that's the right time to make a decision? It is. That is correct. That is the correct time to make a decision.
Right.
You don't make it. You might make it before the call, but it's certainly, you shouldn't be making it any other time, but then any other time but then. That's the time to make a decision. not think about it. Thinking about it is not making a decision, which is the inappropriate thing to do when it's time to make a decision. Imagine we were sitting no, but yet people think that's the correct thing, right? They think somehow that's the correct thing.
Yeah.
Right? So imagine you and I are sitting at a table and I say, would you like to go to lunch? And then you get up from the table, you walk out the door, you go in a field and you go, was that the appropriate thing to do then?
I just need to think about it. Let me just.
Right? Was that the appropriate thing to do when it was time to make a decision? Was that the correct thing to do, to get up and leave the table when I said, hey, Zach, do you want to go to lunch? Is it simple yes or no?
That's very weird and very strange.
Yes. It's very weird and very strange, yet we treat it like it's normal. Yeah. It's actually entirely illogical to not make a decision when it's time to make a decision. Yeah. When you're in the middle of making a decision, go get some more data or clear up the data you don't fully understand. Those are your options, right? And then you weigh it against any other contrary data. Like if they tell you we're going to make you this much money, and then you weigh it against, like many buyers are actually buying quite logically whenever they come to a call, but you have to get them all emotionally riled up so they stop thinking logically. I like to get them emotionally high enough to where they can think logically, get them out of their emotions, because then I can just say, hey man, how do you feel now? I feel great. And then I say, imagine you could be this way every day inside my program, right? But I'm like, cool. So then does this make logical sense? Like you invest money to solve your mindset problem, which is keeping you from making more money. They say, yes. Cool. It's this much. Are you scared? A little. Okay. Well, do you think that's a reasonable amount to pay to solve this problem? Yeah. Okay, cool. Here's what comes with it. I give the price and then I have them justify the price by, what's in the pitch, right? But going back, it's illogical to not make a decision when it's time to make a decision. The reason why I like working with salespeople is because they'll handle their own objections in front of me. And if I don't like how they handle their objection, meaning they came to an illogical conclusion, I will actually stop them, even if they handle their own objection and they want to buy. I'll say, hold on, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to not talk to your wife about this. If you guys make financial decisions together, that's going to rile out the relationship. So like, do you guys have a pre-made agreement on how you make these decisions? Or is this your area where you make decisions on your own? Like, how do you guys do this? Like, that's it. Like, I'm not going to let them, they're ruining their life, or not ruining, but they're causing their own troubles because they think emotionally. So my job is to get them to think logically. I don't need to get them all riled up and excited to buy. They should be excited to buy. We're having a fun time on the call. Right? If you're having a fun time on a call, why wouldn't you buy? It's going well. You like the person. It makes logical sense to solve this problem. Okay, cool. Well, so then whenever it comes time to decide to buy, yes or no. That's it.
What would you say? This is like just listening to you for the last 37 minutes. It's very, very clear to me that there is a way that you see this sales process that's very different to even how I see it or how most people see it. And obviously this is why you're so good at what you do, is because you're seeing it in a different way. And then you have a program that helps people with this, which makes total sense. I can see just from this, like,
we'll find out if it does.
But I'm
rebuilding it right now.
John, is like, help me understand, or help us understand a little bit more about this frame of, or a belief, or this context of the sales process, because there's a famous saying, which is, the content comes from context. If we can bring a level of fun and play to something, it changes the outcome completely. The content is different if we can see it in a different way. So what do you think are the core pillars of how you see this sales conversation? You mentioned things like communication being super, super important, or it's just that you taking the frame, or you taking the lead. It's your process, not their process. Things around like fully helping them understand, because if they're confused, it's going to be fuzzy. These are like super beneficial in understanding this whole process. But are there any other key pillars on like how you define the context of this conversation and this sales conversation that would help us see it the same way that you see? Yeah.
If they say something that doesn't make sense, then you like call them out on it. Like that doesn't make any fucking sense. I'll say it. Like I don't know. I don't have an inhibition to communicate on a sales call. I will say anything. I will intentionally ruin a deal. I don't care. Like I'll do it on purpose. I don't give a fuck. Like I'll do it on purpose with my bank account at zero. Like I don't care. Like I'm going to show up to my calls the exact same way, because Here's one. Don't bring your mental problems to your sales calls. Nobody ever came up with that fucking idea, at least not in our sales realm. You think part of your job description, and this is for business owners too, you think part of your job description is to go in and bring all your mental junk with you to your job, which is you're building a business or doing sales. But it's not. That's not part of your job role. So then why do you do it? You have no discipline over your mind. So that's one. If someone comes to a call, I had these two people. I'd never met them. I didn't know what the call was going to be about, but I knew they wanted to buy something because they came to me. So I was like, all right, let's see what this is about. And they both come to the call and they're like serious and like frowning. I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Why aren't you smiling? And that's like the guy got resentful at me. And I'm like, I don't care. You don't come to my call being unhappy. Like, we're supposed to be here to have fun. Is there something wrong? Like, what's going on? Yeah, it's just like there's so many out points. People think it's okay to start a sales call without somebody having good indicators, which is like smiling, happy, interested, asking questions, answering questions easily. Why would you move on from that? Why not handle that now in the beginning? In fact, I can actually handle all of their stuff that would keep them from going through the call. I wouldn't have to run a call. I'll just say, that's how I did it today. He shared all of his problems and everything, but like I just showed that I understood his problem, and he didn't have to share anything with me for me to know what his problem was. I know exactly what's going on in his universe. And then that's the market part. I know my market. I know exactly what it feels like to be them. So that's the market. And then there's the data. If people share stupid stuff on a call that doesn't make sense, that's the data side, contrary data, right? They say, oh, I had to go to a doctor's appointment at 3. And then 6 minutes later, they're like, yeah, and at 3 p.m. I was on a sales call. That's contrary data. You say, hold on a second. What the fuck? Are you lying to me right now? What's going on? Like, why these don't make those two things? You can't. Were you on a sales call while you were at the dentist? Like, what's going on? Like, you ask about things like that. People don't clarify. I was dealing with the sales team, and I kept cutting them off every time they were asking stupid questions, which was quite often. And it went like this. It was like, hey, what made you click on our ad? Oh yeah, I want more jobs. It's for contractors. I want more jobs. Okay, why do you want more jobs? Should be the question that you ask. And they're like, well, like some other question. And I'm like, no, ask this. How many jobs? Like, why do you want more jobs? Do you not have enough? Is it a money thing? I don't know. Maybe they're bored. You don't know. You assume what it's going to be. Maybe they want more money, but you didn't ask. And that's actually the quickest way to get to someone's pain and problems. Okay, why do you want more jobs? Oh, I want more money. Got it. Do you not have enough money right now? Well, no, I do. Okay, so why do you want more jobs? No, I it's not enough money. Okay, got it. How much money are you making right now? This much. Okay, and like, do you not have enough in the bank, or like, what's the issue? Yeah, no, I'm going less and less each month. Okay, got it. How much do you have right now in the bank? This much. Okay, how much did you have last month? This much. Cool. So it went down by like 15%. Got it. So now I know that they're probably going to give me a price objection, and I'm going to say, well, either way, you're going to go broke because you're running out of money anyway. So you might as well run out of money spending it on us so we can help you make more. Because right now, the way you're doing things ain't working. Right? It's just like, it's logical stuff. Right? And understanding your market, the contractors are going to want to avoid things. You better not let them, like, you better be rapid fire with the questions. Don't give them enough time to object to answering, right? And just acknowledge them. Hey, thank you. I got it. Next question. This question. Okay. This question. Acknowledgement. Next question. All right. You just go, right? I know exactly what I'm looking for. I take notes quick, so I'm not going to miss anything. And I take notes on everything that to say. So by the end of the call, I have all the data I need. And within 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes, I can have all the pain I need. And I didn't ask any of the questions on the script, but I got all the questions on the script fucking answered, which is the point of having the question there in the first place. You don't ask a question, unless it's a very specific type of question. You don't ask a question if it's already answered, right? Unless you really want to ask it again and say, hey, you might have already answered this. I just want to ask it, see if there's anything else that comes up. Are there any other problems in your business? Does that have any other impacts on your life? Yeah, these ways. Okay, cool. I don't know. It's just like,
I think there's one of the hardest or the most challenging steps in the sales process is the closing process. Actually asking for the sale or getting them across the line or whatever you want to call it. How do you see the closing process, and what tips do you have for someone to, I guess, improve their closing rate? Let's put it that way.
Why do you think people don't close?
Say that again.
Why do you think people don't close?
I think people don't close because there's so many different reasons. I think there's probably 101 different reasons.
There's just one. I'm gonna point it out to you, but I want to see if you can get it.
There's only one.
One main reason that causes all the other problems.
Trust. Well, I think what's really important in a sale is that the prospect needs to see that this is going to solve their problem. And so there needs to be confidence that this is going to solve their problem, like certainty.
But are there times where I have people who are willing to buy from me, even if they aren't certain it's going to solve their problem? What does that have?
From my understanding with the sales process, it's about communicating what you mentioned before, a state of that we can solve. Like if you're my prospect, it's like I'm communicating, hey, we have a solution for your problem. We can take you out
But
of
do you
that
ever
pain.
have people who understand you can help and still don't buy? Okay, I got it. So that can't be it. So what else is it?
I don't know what's missing.
It's intention. Intention, here's the definition. And if you intend something to happen, it happens if you intend it to happen. Period. That's it. No other speculation about what it means. That is the definition. So if that's the definition of intention, it means if you didn't close a call, was your intention to close?
Yeah, definitely.
But it didn't close. So was your intention actually for it to close if it didn't? Yeah, this is what responsibility looks like.
I came to the call believing that I was going to close. Yeah.
Well, that's cute. Believing you were, but intending is knowing it's going to happen regardless of contrary appearances.
Right.
So at some point in the call, you could have started strong. And then at some point, you're like, I'm not too sure anymore. And you lost the intention.
That's right.
That's it. So you didn't ask the right questions. You didn't confront the things you needed to. You didn't have the level of affinity or interest or quality of communication that you should have. That's it, right? Even if you don't know all of the things that you can improve about communication, if the intention is there, the communication will still go well. It's not required to have sales training. If your intention is actually to help someone and the only way they can get help is if they buy from you, then if you intend for them to buy, they will buy even if you have no sales training. You will get them to fucking buy because that's your intention. And you will put the intention into them to buy. People don't put the intention into the prospect to answer questions. They just hope that the prospect will answer the questions. They don't put the intention into the prospect to understand what you're saying or share when they don't understand. They don't have any level of responsibility or humanity, which is like responsibility for your fellow man. They don't have responsibility for the other person. They say it's their responsibility to buy, and it's my job to help them make the best decision. No, if the right thing is for them to buy, it's your responsibility for them to buy. You have to go through all their mental shit, all their preconceived notions, all their illogical ways of thinking, and get them to buy anyway. Nothing gets in the way. It's going to happen. Not I hope it happens, or I'll do my best, or let's see how it goes. It's I will close. That's it.
Right. Well,
that's it.
You got 100% intention on doing, on closing,
the whole
doing
time.
everything you can.
Yes, with no fail.
Right.
You don't. There's not 99%. There's 100% or 0%.
Yeah.
Yes, it's black and white. Did you close the deal? No. Then where did you lose the intention? Right here. Okay, got it. What happened? I got in my head. Cool. That's it.
John.
Same thing with every other goal.
This is brilliant. This is brilliant stuff. I can see why you're running this group on Facebook. You're getting amazing testimonials or interactions and all this type of stuff. This has been one of the best conversations I've had about sales in a long time. So this is awesome.
Sweet. That's sweet, dude.
I want to know just two more questions before we wrap it up. Well, three actually. Just quickly before we continue, if you're an entrepreneur out there or a high performer who wants more clarity and direction in life, or maybe you're going through some kind of turbulent transitional phase, I want to share with you something that I co-built. It's called the Life Blueprint System. It's an AI-powered goal-setting process that helps you create a personalized life blueprint, kind of like an architectural plan or a business plan, but for your life. And so it allows you to take and capture those big ideas, those amazing thoughts you have, and to turn it into a proven plan of action. And so if you want to stop guessing and start building your future intentionally and consciously, go to thelifeblueprint.io to learn more. Let's go back to the episode. One is, how are you using AI to help your sales process, or how do you coach your students to use AI to help their sales process? and closing and learning or reflection. I know sometimes I get my call, I put it through AI, get it to reflect back to me how I can improve. Do you have any other tips?
Yeah, so AI learns. So AI, a large language model, what I've learned about what that is, it's very basic understanding, so it might be incorrect. But what I understand so far is large language model means that the AI doesn't actually talk. The AI looks at how we talk, and then that's how it communicates to us. It's kind of like if an alien came to Earth and it had to learn through observation how we communicate, and then it speaks English, but only because it learned like the sounds and sentence structure, but not because it understands what it means. I'm not too entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure that's how it works. So you have to teach it how to think. You have to teach it how to sort through data and how to do it correctly. You can't leave it to it because it'll give okay advice. I wouldn't ask AI what it thought about my call. I don't give a fuck what it thinks about my call. I want AI to take 100 calls. This is what they do. Second call in my program, I think. Second or third call. We do an AI analysis of like the last 100 sales calls. And if you don't have that many on this offer, then we go through all of the successful sales calls, all the unsuccessful sales calls, all the successful sets, all the unsuccessful sets, all the sets that showed and closed, all the sets that showed but didn't close, all the sets that didn't show, all of the call booking offers that didn't set, everything. And we can throw it in. And I give it to AI and I have it just run similarities, differences, and identities. Identities are things which are identical, exact same. So I want to know like the similarities and identities between closed calls. And I want to know the difference between closed calls and not closed calls. And that's it. And I just want it to go through, okay, cool, there's 37 instances of this showing up on not closed calls. And this data was missed. This information wasn't gathered. Okay, cool. But it was gathered 100% of the time on every single closed call. So now the script must require that this data is gathered so that I can build a script not based off of anybody's sales fucking method, but build a script based on data. Right. And if it was a brand new offer, I would have that offer owner go to somebody else in their niche selling the same thing and ask for their call transcripts redacted. And then we could run those. But they have to have some way to build a successful formula. Because I'm not the script builder guy. I can build great scripts and all that kind of stuff. But a script shouldn't be built off of somebody's opinion. A script should be built off of data. And the only reason why we trust sales trainers to do it is because they just have more reference experience, but they still might not always parse the data correctly because they're imperfect. You can tell AI how to do it perfectly. And then it'll say, okay, cool, there's 150 times where you asked all these questions. On these calls, on some closing calls, you miss a question and it's still closed. But we can see that it's in common between, let's say, 50% of all closed calls. So we still keep it in the script. Even if it's redundant, it's still going to increase the likelihood of a close. Just a slight bit more help, right? I would keep it. I wouldn't let it go. If it was like 30% of the time, we can drop that question. We don't need that. We don't need that data. But if on every call you had 30 minutes of rapport building, cool. Every call you do 30 minutes of rapport building. That's it. I don't give a fuck what anybody's opinion on it is. I don't care how long your calls are. How do we get to 100% close rate? This is how you do it. Right? Okay, cool. Then we need to find out, I want to train AI to do this, to figure out what component of communication went out during the call. Warmth, interest, affinity, communication, intention, attention, whatever it is. And if you can find out what point went out, then you can actually just train on that one single point, and you don't need to role play whole calls anymore. You only need to train on certain specific points and skills. If everybody shows up to your call distracted, then you only drill getting them undistracted. That's it. So when I do sales drilling in my program, it's like hyper specific. That's where we want to be, to where we only drill on what actually matters based on the data, not based on your opinion of how a call went. Like one lady, I was telling you about her earlier, we held 2 calls. Do this, dude. This is great. No AI needed. I just took a really good call and put a really bad call and then put them side by side. And we literally went second by second, the difference in the call. And one call, she was being herself and being playful and fun. And the guy was smiling the whole time. He was like so engaged and there's so much affinity and love in the call. He couldn't stop smiling. That's a very good indicator. And then in the other call, the guy wasn't smiling. He was distracted. And the out point was attention. He was driving. So he could not give full attention to her. So even if she was being herself, he wouldn't receive the affinity because he's distracted. So that's it. That's the point that's out. The 2 points is be yourself. Don't be rigid. And get their attention. That's it. So that's very specific coaching. So if and most people say, oh, you need to do this handler, you need to do this better. What do you mean I need to improve my discovery? You don't know what the fuck that means. You don't know what to improve about discovery. You don't know all the little things you can improve. This is what sales training can't teach you. It's because sales trainers don't know this stuff. They don't have a way to. And I know they don't have.
Perfect segue, John. Tell us, who do you help the best? From who's listening right now, who should reach out, and how can you help them?
When I use the word gay, if it makes you smile or chuckle, you should reach out. I'm not kidding. Or like retarded and stuff like that. Like if that like really, tickles your nuts or whatever, like you're in my target market. It's usually people who are fairly conservative. They 25 to like 50-ish, who are doing pretty well, but they could be doing better. Let's see what else. Sales and business. I can really help any kind of sales rep. I just usually work with online sales reps. And if you have a sales team, like, cool, I can talk to you about training your team and this stuff, right? How to get them really falling in love with talking to the market and all that kind of stuff. I'm rebuilding my program right now, so it's not going to be perfect. But I don't know. I'm on a sales rampage today. So I'll go close some deals and then probably spend the next 2 weeks only building my program. But everybody gets results. We're just doing one-on-one calls right now. That's the onboarding. So if you want, like, if you're good at what you do, if you're good at business, but you get in your own way, like if you're good at sales and you're good at delivering your product, I can help you. If you're bad at delivering your product, I know someone who can help you. It's very good. I'm having him help me to perfect my fulfillment. Or if you're in sales and you're like a year at least in sales, and you have experience and you keep getting in your own way, or you're playing small and you're doing gay shit, like getting in your head on calls, and stuff like that, or whatever it is, like, let's just handle it. Like, that's what I do. That's who should reach out to me. If you're stupid, don't reach out to me. If you're actually gay, probably don't reach out to me. I'm going to offend you a lot. Yeah, I don't know. Sorry. It just ain't
No,
gonna happen.
I see how
Yeah.
you show up. You're a consistent man. You have high integrity. You've got a great lot of value, and you're helping lots of people. So if you're out there, I'll put your links around here. Everybody listening, if you want
Thank
to have
you.
a breakthrough with your sales, in your mindset, with your business, with whatever your next level is, reach out to John. I'll put the links around here. Last question, John. If you could challenge people today, some kind of challenge they got to do today or this week or this month or this quarter, this year, what would that challenge be that's going to help them have a breakthrough? Pause before we continue. The first way we as entrepreneurs introduce ourselves when we walk into a room, it's our energy, right? People feel that. And secondly, it's our face. How healthy do we look? So for the entrepreneurs out there who care about how they show up, I'd love to share with you personally. I've been utilizing some Korean skincare products now just for over a month, and I had no idea about them up until, even just 2 months ago. But it's by far one of the best investments I've made for my skin. I feel it's literally making me look younger, and it has this like glassy, super fresh look. And so this is the number one exported Korean beauty brand and skincare line in the world. The ingredients are second to none. Even pregnant women can utilize them, because out there's so many products that have toxins in them that really make our face not healthy over a long period of time. And so if you're out there and you want to match the energy that you output with how healthy you look, you can trial these products risk-free for 30 days. If you don't like them, send them back and get all your money back. If you're out there, if you're curious, check out the link below to learn. Let's get back to the episode.
Same advice I gave before. Document what you've done correctly before with no bias, and then do more of it. That's it. I write content. I inflow leads from content. I do JVs. I inflow leads from JVs. These are things that have worked that I've produced money from. I don't make money from LinkedIn. I make money from Instagram and Facebook. So LinkedIn's my last place to go to prospect. DMs work for me. I know how to do that. I've successfully done that across 2 different businesses. I know how to do texts and dials, but I don't have phone numbers in my business. So I'm not going to try and text and dial my business right now. That's it. You find what works for you. You find your successful formula. You document and you do it again. And I dare you to not change it. And you just do it every single day as much as you possibly can. So if it's sending DMs, it's how do I send as many DMs? How do I get as many booking offers out? How do I get as many book calls? If it's I don't know, doing word of mouth or something, like how do you go to more events and be seen more, right? Word of mouth isn't really scalable. So it's like, how do I get you'll have to actually figure out what's something that you can scale um in that instance. So but yeah, for most of anybody who's listening, you've already done something successful. Do it again. And just don't change it. Don't listen to anything ads say. Don't listen to any social media posts about what you should do. Don't listen to anybody's fucking opinion about shit, about anything that you do, unless they sit down, look at your stats with you, and actually analyze your statistics, your personal statistics about your business. Like if I give someone advice, it's not going to sound like the same advice I give someone else. Because in this business, great, texting and ads work. In this business, great. They like I have a guy who like does very similar model to me, JVs and DMs. That's how he gets his business. Cool. So he wants me to come in and manage his like bring in a DM setter and do all that. I've never done it before, but I'll fucking figure it out. Who cares? I want the money, so I'll solve the problem, right? Here's the other thing: if you can solve the problem, take the money. Until you're actually in a place to scale, take all the money you can, right? And then eventually you'll stop doing one-off projects. But it would be stupid for me to turn down several tens of thousands of dollars just because I want to go sell more people into my group program. It's just stupid, right? But it would be dumb if like you've never made money. Like I'll give you an example. I'm starting a podcast. I've got 2 episodes. The only reason why I run the podcast is so I can get JV partners. That's it. It serves the thing that already successfully works for me. It's an easy yes. Hey, do you want to hop on my Perfect Sales podcast? Fuck yeah, I do. That sounds like a cool ass podcast. Right? That's it. But it all goes to serve the other thing. And I need to do more DM outreach. So I need to go DM more people who I can do JVs with. That's it. It's more of the same. Less of something like don't do other dumb shit. Do the dumb shit that works, that you know works. Don't do anything else. Don't come up with creative ideas. Get creative with how do you do more of the same if you want to. Like for me, I used to write posts and I'd have up my customer onboarding forms and I'd write a post about all the problems they shared on their onboarding form. Then I stopped doing that. And when I was doing that, I was getting lots of inbound people more easily. So now go back to that successful habit of only writing content that's about my customer from the customer's point of view, written with as much verbatim language as possible. That's it. And then whenever I talk to Claude to have it write a sales page for me, it has 2 years of Zoom calls worth of transcripts, plus all my market data from all my onboarding forms.
Question on that. Do you transcribe the video through another software and then put the script into Claude?
Yeah.
Is that what you're doing?
Sometimes. Yeah, it depends on if it already had the transcript or not. It depends. I have Otter, I think. So we use that now. But before I had to have my VA manually go through, download the video, and then upload it. And she spent like probably 26 hours transcribing every single Zoom video and then sorting it. So that way, if it's a sales call, it goes here. If it's a coaching call, it goes here. If it's a one-on-one private coaching call, it goes here. So they're all sorted inside of my Google Drive. So now I have thousands of pages of market data. And now I have a pal who gave me a Dan Kennedy copy agent. So I throw that into Claude and I say, okay, cool, write me a sales page. And it writes me some of the best copy I've ever read written to my target market. I would have spent, because I'm not a copywriter, so I write content. I'm a content writer. But it writes the copy and it's really good. It's very simple. I say, write it for a third grade reading level. It's really good. So the other piece of advice is collect as much data about your market as humanly possibly can. Store it, keep it safe, put it in a vault somewhere, and don't ever, ever lose it. Don't ever. And also, if your market is anybody who hangs out on Reddit, you can ask ChatGPT or Claude to get you market data because it pulls from Reddit for its information. So that's the easiest way if you want to get market data that you don't yet have, right? But once you have the market data, then you can start crafting offers. But I only craft offers if I interview the people myself. The first step in starting a business is you get into communication with the market. It's not you guess what they want based on data. No, you actually go talk to them, and that's the data you want because those are the people who are going to be buying. I don't know. I could obviously ramble about this shit all day. I forgot your original question, but how am I using AI?
I was listening. I was taking notes. The
Yeah.
question was, what is the biggest challenge you could give people to have their own breakthrough? Which is great. I'll just rehash it. It's to document
Mhm.
what works and do that. Do that over and over again. And you said you dare people not to change it.
Yeah. That's it. That's my challenge.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
John, this has been an epic conversation. I've got pages of notes. If you're out there listening, who do you know who would like to hear this message? Who's an entrepreneur, who's wanting to get entrepreneurship, who's in sales, who's wanting to get into sales? Send this podcast to them, help them have a breakthrough today. Any final comments,
No, this is
John?
great, dude. I like hanging out. So caught me at a good
This is
time.
this
I
is
finally
awesome.
had something
This
good
is
to
awesome.
say. Yeah.
This is why I love these conversations. It's real, it's raw, and I've never had someone say gay or retarded or asshole as much as you, and I
Yeah.
appreciate that. You're real, you're raw and honest, and I respect that. So
Your intuition, where's it located?
um,
We should make a meme about that. That'd be great.
everybody at home, we will see you next time on the Breakthrough Moment podcast. Thanks, John.